All right, it's Bill here. Players Championship finals are about to start tomorrow morning here in North America, afternoon in UK. Here's my predictions. Well, let's first start off talking about the Grand Slam of Darts. Gerwyn Price won it. I believe I had the finalists correct. I don't believe I picked the final correct, but one thing that has to change the Grand Slam of Darts is just ridiculous. If I went back and saw when they didn't play under, or they didn't play with the crowd, there was a day off before Jose de Sousa went from semi-final to final. When Jose de Sousa and James Wade played, the only game that they played on that day was the final. I don't think it's a surprise that Gerwyn Price has won 3 straight championships, because on his championships, the semifinal and the final are both played on the same day. That is 2 games, first to 16 games. Those are long games. How is it a surprise that the fittest person on the tour won? To me, it's silly. It's the only tournament that has this. You should be playing a best of 16 on one day. I mean, not to say anything will be an old, but I'm old. I'm not as old as Peter Wright, but I'm very close. And you've got the rugby player, young, fit, going into the final. There was no doubt that Peter Wright looked gassed. The semi-final where he came back on Smith, Smith just has that. It's actually something that Peter Wright had, which was the choke label. I thought Smith was dominant. It wasn't like Wright was playing horrible and went up 12-8, but whatever Wright came out with, I mean, he came out with like a 10-11, 12 darter. So now it's 12-11. There were a couple times when if Smith would have hit the double, the game would have changed. And he missed the double when he had a chance to change that game, but it was just dominant. And Price over Wade, that was just dominant. And Price over Wright, that was just dominant. So congratulations to Gerwyn Price. Now, I'm going to try to go quickly here. There's 32 games to go through tomorrow on the Players Championship. Now, the great thing about this, you got Stream 1 and Stream 2. So I'm going to have 2 TVs. PDC TV, I've got the subscription. On the one TV, I'll have the main stage, which, by the way, in the morning session or in the afternoon session, depending on where you are, they're not the games I want to watch. Then you have the second stage on the streaming 2. So I'll probably I'll have both open, but I'll probably keep my eye more on the stage 2 games, and we'll go through that. I know they want to put the names on the big stage. I guess you get people to watch, but the games are crappy in terms of competitiveness compared to what you're going to get on stage 2. So again, on that morning session here, afternoon session, I guess, in UK, you gotta watch stage 2. But let me go through the picks. Again, I'm gonna kind of go through them with not a lot of commentary, because if I get a lot of commentary, I'll be here for 2 years. 32 games. First game up, so I'm gonna do the main stage first. Ryan Searle to beat Simon Whitlock. It's probably one of the more competitive games on the main stage. However, first game up, okay. Krzysztof Ratajski to beat Ron Muhlenkamp 6-4. I think there's a chance that Ratajski loses this, to be honest. Just the way he performed in the Grand Slam was very concerning, especially when he shouldn't be losing to a Rafferty, but he's also very consistent. Ron Muhlenkamp does hit a lot of 180s, could put the pressure on him. We'll see what happens. Mike Smith to blow William Borland out 6-1. Joe Cullen to beat Andy Bolton 6-2. Here's 2 games that are just not going to be competitive, and you put it on the main stage because I guess you got Smith and Cullen with names. Okay. Dimitri Vandenberg to beat Matters Razma. Again, I don't know how Dimitri Vandenberg's going to come back. Razma's not a bad player. I'll put it more competitive. I'll say 6-4. I'm going to take an upset here. I'm going to take an upset. Really, why I'm taking the upset, I'm a moron. Odds are really good, and I just not a big fan of James Wade. So if James Wade leads the tournament early, I'm happy. I'm going to take Ricky Evans to beat him 6-5. Nathan Aspinall to beat the Canadian Jess Smith 6-3. Again, I would love to cheer for the Canadian. I just think Aspinall just watched the Grand Slam of Darts. And I haven't heard him talk all week. So that's a good thing. He's got to stop the Durant thing where you talk to PDC and tell you how great you're going to do, and then you go and do shit. So he didn't talk. I'll take him to win this one 6-3. Then this is a good game. in all fairness, this is a great game. Lewis against Hybricks, and the winner gets either Peter Wright or Keen Barry. Like, that's a tough section of the draw. The first 2 games are the toughest ones, and then it probably gets easier from then on in. Go either way. I flipped a coin, landed on heads. Adrian Lewis to win this one 6-5. On the second stage, again, way more competitive matchups, but I'll go through them. I like Martin Clearmacher, and I also like the odds for Martin Clearmacher, so I think I'm going to put some dollars down on that to beat Scott Mitchell 6-4. Luke Woodhouse to beat Ryan Joyce 6-5 in what could be termed an upset, but Luke Woodhouse tends to show up to these tournaments and do really well. Martin Schindler to beat Ian White 6-4. Could go either way. I just remember how Ian White plays on a stage. Again, this is not the main stage, so maybe he does play well, but I think Schindler, he beat Price in his last game at the Grand Slam. Take him 6-4. Mervyn King to beat Darius Labanauskas, and then these are great matchups. These are going to be competitive matchups. But I like Mervyn King to win 6-4. Brandon Dolan to beat Chaz Barstow 6-4. Ross Smith to beat Rusty Jake Rodriguez 6-3. And then his brother, I see him getting the same fate, Danny Noppert, to take him out 6-4. And then Gabriel Clemens to beat Steve Beaton 6-2. Let's go to the night session, I guess, in UK, or the afternoon session here in Canada, North America. Stephen Bunting to have an upset over Anderson 6-4. Van Barneveld to beat Mike Ivanhoven 6-2. Rob Cross to beat Jermaine Wadamita 6-3. Josie D'Souza to beat Peterson 6-4. Devin Peterson. I'm hoping Devin Peterson. And the way that Josie D'Souza played against Wright was bad. I still think he'll win this one 6-4. Gerwin Price to shellac Jason Lowe 6-2. MVG to shellac Kevin Douts 6-1. Peter Wright to beat Keen Barry. Now, if I'm going to pick a huge, big upset, that's when I'm going to pick that upset. Barry might win. There's good odds on that. I'm not going to lay any money down, but I mean, I'm doing a prediction, so I'll pick Wright, but that's not a bad bet on Barry. But I'll take Wright to win this one 6-4. And then Johnny Clayton to beat Alan Tavern 6-3. On the second stage, Vincent van der Voort to beat Jelle Clausen 6-4. Now, Jelle Clausen got the late add-in with the COVID with Jamie Hughes. Now, Clausen's tour card is on the line. He needs to win. If he wins 2 or 3 matches, I think he keeps his tour card. But I think you're coming in late. I think Vincent van der Voort's a quality player. Yeah, him to win that, or I like Vincent van der Voort to win the 6-4. Alan Suter, and I guess a bit of an upset, and the odds I expected to be a little bit more weighted towards Gurney, but Suter's played well all year. I mean, he's nearly in the top 64 already, just by merit on 1 year. I like Alan Suter to win this one 6-4. Damon Hedda to beat Steve Lennon 6-3. Callan Ritz to beat Mensur Sulovic 6-4. I would have gone with Mensur, but I think he's going to have a hangover from the Fallon drumming. So I like Callan Ritz to win this one 6-4. And I'm going to talk about Callan Ritz in just a bit. Dirk Van Duijvenbode to beat Ryan Meikle 6-3. Luke Humphreys to beat Jason Heaver 6-3. Chris Dobie to beat William O'Connor 6-4. And Dave Chisnell to beat Richie Headhouse 6-4. Those are my predictions. Now, one thing that's crazy about this, the World Junior, the World Youth Championship is happening at the same time with 32 players, of which some of them are in the main tournament. So let's say Callan Ritz, who I think is going to do well, gets to the final on Sunday. He's in the quarterfinals. He's got to play the World Youth Championship. And if he goes to the finals, or any one of these players go to the final, but I think realistically, if you take a look at the players, Ritz has the best chance. I mean, he's won championships this year, so wouldn't be out of craziness to suggest that he might get to the final. He would have to play the World Youth Championship on Sunday, the quarterfinal, then he'd have to play a semifinal and a final, and all the rounds with the World Junior, and then play in the final for that. There's a possibility the man could play 15 games. How's this possible? How in the world do you not have the World Youth Championship happening before the Players' Championship? It never happened that way. They've always had the World Youth Final predicted before the Players' Championship final. Like, this is insane. Now, you could argue a certain point, why are card holders playing in the youth tournament? It's always been that way. I mean, Dimitri Vandenberg won it with a tour card. Luke Humphreys won it with a tour card. I think Bradley Brooks even last year had a tour card. I'm not positive, but I think he had a tour card before joining. So I don't understand why you're doing all of this on the Sunday, where the guy, Ritz, if he does make it, could be playing quarterfinal, semifinal, final in the regular World Championship, and then also playing all the round robins and the World Youth Final, and all on the same day. Like, but there's a possibility that you have the semifinal, and then usually before the semifinal they play the World Youth, so that he could play in the second semifinal, and then the World Youth Championship, and then the final. I guarantee PDC's hoping that doesn't happen, but that's insane. What kind of scheduling is this? Anyways, I'll leave it at that. Hope you enjoy the darts. By the way, I don't think Helmut's going to get to the quarterfinal. I think it's possible quarterfinal. But I don't like him past that. But just the fact that it exists, there's a possibility of this happening. It's crazy. Hope everyone enjoys the darts. Hope you like my predictions. Hopefully I do well on my predictions. And we'll see you, I guess, Friday night, my time. Saturday, really early in the morning, UK time, and I'll give the predictions for round 2.